Prophet ﷺ said, whoever calls to nationalism, to tribalism, is not of us, not a true Muslim. So Allah puts it on the same level. There is nothing special about people's colors because it exists everywhere. In fact, it is all from the greatness of Allah's creation. Allah says in the Quran that these differences in color and tongues, etc., are from the greatness of Allah and have nothing to do with superiority or pride. This is clear to those who have knowledge. To those who have knowledge. A person without knowledge moves on emotion. So they can't change, difficult to change when what you are reacting to is a product of emotion and not knowledge. And this is why, from the Islamic perspective, back to the Quran again, we find in the Quran where Allah identifies there the beginning of racism. Where? In the creation of Adam. When Adam was created, the angels and Iblis, Satan, a leader among the jinn, were instructed to bow in recognition of Adam's special place with Allah. Iblis refused. Satan refused. And when he was questioned as to why, he said, أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. I am better than him, Adam. That man that you want me to bow before. I am better than him because you created me from fire. The jinn are created from fire. And you created him from clay. That is that expression of racism. You see, there it is mentioned in the Quran as something evil which led to God's curse, God's eternal curse on Satan. Pride based on racial, tribal origin is a cursed state, displeasing and hated by God. And that is how it is mentioned in the Quran. And that is why Islam has this great message to offer to humankind, to help them to achieve peace in this area, to bring them to the realities of humankind and human existence. Human beings are one human race. And there is only one God. And as such, God created for human beings only one message. He did not want confusion amongst people. So he didn't create a variety of messages. He created with the first human being on the earth one religion, one God, one human race, and one religion. And that religion, the religion of Adam, was submission to the will of God, obedience to God's command. And that is what in Arabic is referred to as Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inshallah, brothers and sisters, we will now move into the question and answer session. We encourage non-Muslims, brothers and sisters both, to ask questions, and we will give them precedence at the microphone. So if any non-Muslims are here, you will be given preference at the microphones. Please state your name and your profession before you ask your question. Thank you. You may begin, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ludovic. I'm French. I am not Muslim. And I am traveling 8 months in India. I am studying in France, but actually I take a year for me. And maybe you said the answer of my question, but forgive me if I make you repeat. But how in the Quran Allah explains the different, the origin of the different kind of human, black, white. I don't like the word race, but we are all different. And how is it possible that from one first man, common first man, there are all these differences in the humanity?
Okay. Our friend's question basically is, how is it possible that the variety that we see amongst us here today, in terms of colors, shapes, sizes, colors of eyes and everything, we see all this variety, how can it come from one person? That's a good question. Well, the geneticists, those who specialize in genetics, modern scientists in the science of genetics, they explain it very easily. Every human being has in his or her genes the ability to produce every other human being. Every human being, not just Adam the first, but even you today have the ability to produce children of varying colors and shapes and sizes, etc. It's just a matter of factors which lead to the turning on of some genes, turning off of other genes. And who controls that? God. And one of the signs that he leaves amongst us are who? The albinos. You know the albino or albino? You'll see somebody from Africa, from a tribe. There's one friend of mine, a Sudanese. His parents are black. His grandparents are black. His wife is black. And he is white as snow. So much so his eyelashes are white. You see? This is how? This is genetic. It has to do with the genes. So Adam, when Allah created him, and this is something that the Prophet ﷺ alluded to, when he said that when Adam was being made, and he was made from clay, the angels gathered from all over the earth different amounts of dirt. Some of it white, some of it brown, some of it black. As we have all this variation in the colors of the earth, in the earth itself, that was all brought together in the creation of Adam.
Jazakallah.
Pleasure.
I hope that answered your question. Now I'll go to the microphone in the back.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nawaz Satwilkar and I'm an electronic engineer working at Siemens. My question is, here in India we have a concept of Sayyids. They claim the ancestry to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they say that Sayyids marry only Sayyids, or the other concept is like the Sayyids never has to be given zakat. So please throw some light on this.
Okay, our brother has asked about a concept amongst Muslims, especially in the subcontinent, regarding people who are given the label of Sayyids, Sayyid, with the claim that they are descendants of Prophet Muhammad's family. This is the claim. Of course, any such claim, first and foremost, we say, must be supported by evidence. Please trace your ancestry right back to the Prophet ﷺ for me. And most of these people, in fact, 99.99% of these people cannot do that. They can't trace it back. It's just a claim which was made a few generations back and people accepted it and it was handed down. That's the first point. Really, it is false in most cases. Secondly, the idea that only Sayyids marry Sayyids, that is also false. Even if we accept them as being from the family of the Prophet, descendants of the Prophet's family, the idea that they only marry amongst each other, that is false. Islam doesn't support that at all. That is tribalism. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said, Man da'a ila al-asabiyya falaysa minna. whoever calls to tribalism, to only my family, is not of us. So even the practice among some Muslims today in ignorance, where they say you cannot marry outside of our family. You know, as an Indian you can't marry a Pakistani, or even within, from Hyderabad you can't marry people from Tamil Nadu. You know, this is nonsense. This is completely outside of Islam. Islam is innocent from these kinds of beliefs and ideas. Completely false. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ demonstrated that when he married Zayd ibn al-Haritha, a former black slave, to Zainab, his own cousin, who was from top families of Mecca. He did it to demonstrate that those kinds of feelings and attitudes have no place in Islam. Third point, there are people who are from the family of the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, among his very uncles, who Allah said are people of hell. Among his own uncles, much closer to him than any of the Sayyids today could possibly be, are people who have been designated as people of hell. So what does that tell us? Being a relative of the Prophet has no value. Before God, it has no value. You can be a disbeliever or a disbeliever. And truly, this is what happened. So, this practice or this belief is a part of the ignorance of Muslims. As Muslims drift away from the Islamic teachings, then these kind of racialist, tribalist, nationalistic feelings and ideas arise. This has historically been the way. When Islam is strong, the teachings are well known, people know it, then these feelings go down. They're satanic. No, as I gave the example from Iblis, Satan, refusing to bow and his claim, know that the origin of racism is from Satan. It is a satanic belief. And tribalism is satanic. Human beings are one.
I believe we have a question from the sister side. Sister, would you please state your question and your name, please, and profession?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mariam Sheikh. I'm student of Al Momina School. You mentioned in your talk that Zayd radhiyallahu anhu's name was changed to Zayd ibn Muhammad after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam adopted him. Muslims generally say that adoption is not allowed in Islam. Please clarify.
Okay, as I mentioned, when Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, freed Zayd and adopted him as his son officially by changing his name to Zayd ibn Muhammad, that remained so until Muslims reached Medina. When the Prophet reached Medina and the legal system of Islam was revealed, then Allah corrected that and said, "Ud'uhum li'abaihim fahuwa aqsatu inda Allah." Call them by their fathers' names. That is more just in the sight of Allah. So his name was re-corrected and changed back to Zayd ibn al-Haritha, the name of his father. So according to Islamic law, a person's family name cannot be changed, even if he converts to Islam. For example, my name, oftentimes Muslims ask me, your name is Bilal Phillips. Sounds like you have a piece of this and a piece of that. You know? Half and half. If you want to be a Muslim, you should be Bilal Muhammad or something, you know? Why not? Well, the reality is that according to the Sharia, according to Islamic law, it is forbidden for anyone to change the names of their fathers, because the fathers' names indicates their genealogy. And when a person converts to Islam, he doesn't change his genealogy. His father is still his father. So he's not allowed to change his father's name. His given name, he may change. If the meaning is un-Islamic, if it involves some aspect of idolatry, for example, then that name should be changed. Like my previous given name, what they call Christian name or first name, was Dennis. Dennis comes from the Greek god Dionysius, the god of wine and bacchanal, So that is definitely not an acceptable name. Like Diana, the goddess of love. If you become a Muslim, you have to change Diana. Or Apollo, or any of these names of gods, etc. These names have to be changed. Or if the name has a bad meaning, also the Prophet ﷺ used to change people's given names, not their family names. Even if the family name has a bad meaning, all right, he would not touch it. Like Abu Huraira, very famous companion of the Prophet, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, who narrated more hadiths than any other companion. His original name was Sakhr ibn Abd Shams. Sakhr means rock, the son of the sun worshipper. His father's name was sun worshipper, or slave of the sun. Now the Prophet ﷺ changed his name, his given name, to Abdul Rahman. And he was given the nickname Abu Huraira, the man who loved the cat. He used to carry a little cat around with him. He liked kittens. But his name was changed, only his first name was changed to Abdul Rahman. From Rocky. You have a name like Rocky? And we say, better you change it. Get some name which is, more attractive, something of better meaning, etc. Otherwise, family names should not be touched. So, in answer to the question, is there adoption in Islam? Yes. You may adopt somebody, but you can't change their name. Adopting meaning looking after them, taking care of them, raising them, spending money on them, providing for them. Of course, Islam encourages that, especially for orphans. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ praised those who looked after orphans, saying that they will be like this with me on the day of judgment in paradise. So looking after orphans is something highly encouraged in Islam. Adopting them is a wonderful thing, but don't change their names.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Brother, go ahead now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Lim Jui Sun from Malaysia. I have a simple question to Brother Bilal Phillips. The Jew claim that they are the most superior human beings on earth, better than any other races. What the Quran speak about this? What the Quran say about the Jew? The Jew claim they are the most superior human being on earth.
Okay.
What Quran speak about? Talk about that.
You see, to answer that question, we would have to establish that this is a fact. That the Jews claim that they are the most superior people on earth. So unless you can quote from me from the Talmud or from the Torah, where the Jews actually say that, then for me to answer your question is to accept your premise without evidence, right? That is to accept your premise without evidence. But let me go on. If it were that they did say that, okay, we'll just take it. If they did say it, does it have any weight from the Quranic perspective? No, it has no weight. Allah has already stated, as I mentioned the verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, 49th chapter, verse 13, Allah says there very clearly, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Indeed, the best of you, the most superior of you, are those who fear God the most. So that is the only criterion that we have. And only Allah knows who fears Him the most. He knows what is in the heart, because obviously fear of God. Fear of God meaning fear of His displeasure, which leads one to do what He commands. Who knows that best? Allah, because He knows what's in the hearts.
Thank you for your question. I'll take the question from the brother here.
My name is J.V. Gadgil. I am a Hindu. You quoted that Aryans are superior race. According to my knowledge, Aryans are not a superior race. It is quality they developed in their life for generation. That is for quality. Aryans represent for quality, not race.
Well, I'm not quite clear exactly the point you're trying to make. What I did say, and I didn't say that Aryans are superior. I just said that they, according to history, came into India and conquered it. And they came from the north. They were not original Indians. The original Indians are the Dravidians. So when they came and they conquered, they set up a system with themselves on top, which is natural. Any conqueror, if he conquers, this is the normal course of history. Whenever you conquer a people, you put them under you. They're your subjects. So that's what they did. And the caste system, evolved out of that relationship, which had to do with organization for economics and variety of other reasons. This is all I was saying. But now it has become related or appears related to race or color.
This will be the last question. Brother, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Suhail Firfire. I'm in the field of marketing. There's a group of people I've come across among Muslims who strongly adhere to the Quran and the Sunnah. They say that the Khilafah or a ruler in Islam or amongst Muslims in the future should be from amongst the Quraysh. I went on to read some references in Sahih Muslim. I didn't get any proper explanations on that. The hadith kept saying that the ruler should be from the Quraysh. Could you please throw some light on that?
Okay, this issue of al-a'immatu min Quraysh, that the imams, the leaders, should be chosen from the Quraysh. This was a recommendation attributed to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, based on the fact that the Quraysh tribe was the leading tribe of Arabia, and that for organizational purposes, if the other tribes would not submit except to one from the Quraysh. So scholars looking at that, have concluded different conclusions regarding it. Whether it is forever or whether it is just for the first generation where that issue of the Quraysh and the other tribes of Arabia was relevant. Because after that period of time, we know in Muslim history, they weren't. Right? They weren't. So it is a point which seemed to be for political organization in the first few generations only, and not a general statement until Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Okay, thank you. That was the last question, inshallah.